Hello there. I know I was supposed to play Leica today, but I am feeling very, very, very hyper-focused on Satisfactory in the last couple days. I have been thinking a lot about what I'm going to do with the save file. I've been testing stuff, and the last few times I've been streaming Satisfactory, I finished the stream and then basically just wanted to keep playing, which tells me I should indulge and just focus on it. Okay. So, one thing I did after the stream last time was just to try to see how I would connect a train station to my conveyor highway, which is right here. So right now I've actually connected all six of the conveyors, all six of the train wagon freight cars to our conveyor highway, which is down there. So only happens that 3 of them are currently empty, which is this one and this one and this one, but they're all connected. Now, I want to keep doing this. I do have a problem. Because I got another, what, 8 from there and another 9 above. Those belts are going to have to go through, well, somewhere. Which happens to have a whole bunch of generators in the way. So the biofuel generators are going to move on. They're going to move down to a new floor. I'm going to move them down below the power switches. Yeah. Same for that factory here, the biofuel making factory. I'm destroying. I know I've placed it there. It was a little bit of a pain to get it set up, mostly because I was trying to figure out why it wasn't charging the batteries. Turns out it just doesn't. It needs to be another power source. And then also trying to figure out why it was discharging when it was not connected to anything, and then realizing it was actually my hover pack draining quite a lot of juice from it. So I'm getting rid of all of that because I need the room in here for the conveyor highway. If we have a good look, like we have, yeah, 8 over there, and then another 9 up top, which means I need 3 rows of this for the topmost, which is going to be the middle 9, because they're closer, they're shorter. And they're above, they're way above, so I want to keep them fairly high. And then after that, the ones that are on the in the other station, the red train station, those are going to be taking the bottom belts. Gonna be the bottom 9. There's only 8 cars. I'm probably just not gonna use the middle one here. That's fine. Like, it's a spare belt. I can run with a spare belt. Now, the other thing I've been testing out is how this kind of scales and how this builds out. So, if I do default and auto connect, I hit H, I can actually kind of go, and then I could just kind of down. Except for some reason, it completely refuses to connect. So what I am gonna have to do is, if I, let's say I destroy these, then I go for this. Suddenly, again, I was usually able to connect trying to connect to a bunch of places where it shouldn't. So just scaling this is going to be kind of tricky. And luckily all of these I can actually readjust the heights if I need to. As long as the maximum height doesn't go higher than this floor, then I'm good. So my thought process here is I have these set up, well, set up to a point already. Usually this is what I do, I just nudge it down. Blueprint mode, nudge it down. Bam. Really not. Really not cooperating here. I'm starting to think I should build it one layer at a time instead of two. Just because it doesn't want to attach. But it's metal that. Right back up to my blueprint maker. All the way upstairs. As stripped down as I can make it. One way, 3 belt. If I go back down to here. Nudge that in place. Default auto connect. Up. That one. Rebuild the highway. There we go. So that, okay. Now these I can actually just that's about as good as I'm gonna get in terms of precision. Because even just trying to get it to connect where I want it to makes it connect basically everywhere but where I want it to. Go, so that can actually work quite nicely. I do down, back to default auto connect, except it's the wrong freaking way every time. Hey. There you go. So now that is actually kind of connecting the way I want it to. But you see, as soon as I've got more than two, I gotta be real careful about where I connect it. So go, and now we can just so yeah, I can kind of build it this way. But doing it only one layer at a time feels like it's taking... I don't know, it's gonna... If I have a lot, it's gonna take for freaking ever. Let's say I do 6 belts instead. Can I actually... If I try to do it 6 at a time, look at that. It's only connecting... So... What that tells me is that maybe I need to space them out a bit more. I want to build more at once. Let's say I do load here, 6 belts. Looks a little weird, but that here, slightly more spaced out version here. Okay, basic spelt highway. Call it VS for vertical space. Okay. If I pull, if I nudge out enough, okay, so it is being a little picky, but you start figuring it out. Nudging out, it eventually connects. I could just going until here. Okay. So I can now build 6 belts at a time. Certainly not bad at all. Now if I do blueprint auto connect, okay, yeah, as long as I is it the wrong way again? Why does it always put it the wrong friggin' way every time? And I'm wondering why I'm having all the trouble in the world connecting the friggin' thing. Okay, so if it's red, it's just because it's trying to put it the wrong way around. Again. Okay. That is now actually There we go. So that's... There you go. That's all connecting. Yeah, I've also redone this little junction here. Well, these two. So I've got a container. That one is meant to go, like, to throw stuff straight into the sorter. So let's say, yeah, these materials here, I could just throw that in there. And that is gonna get auto sorted. Did I have a biofuel container? I feel like I had one, but I don't specifically remember. Yes, I do. It's right there. Bam. Fruit mains. I'll just throw that like this, and then the cables go in here. Okay. I had a sample of the lower scale conveyors. So I think what's gonna have to happen is I'm gonna have to kind of shut the wall here. Because now the question is, if I can have the more compact build that I started with and actually just make it work by nudging it in place. That would allow me to have a lot more belts. Okay, so say we do this. Well, that means I have 6, 9, 12 belts. If I pull it out just enough, it actually starts to behave. There's literally just one spot where it all connects. So, as long as I can find that one spot where it all connects. it's fine and it all works. Plug that in here. Okay. Now the tricky bit. I'd have to nudge down the original blueprint here just to be able to make it work. So if I do that, down, then redo what I did before. Down a bit. There you go. That gives me a good straight line. Okay. It's a little fiddly. But it honestly could have been a lot worse. And now look at that. I can have... not that. I want the blueprint, the whole thing. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. This is working very nicely. that'll go here, and basically, all right. I've calculated this right. I got 9 plus 8 plus 6. So let's say 9, 9, and 6, because we're in multiple of 3s here. Let's make it a bit easier. That means 3 rows. Then 3 rows, then 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then these 6. Okay. Let's just move these lifts here. I could readjust them at the proper height once we're done building. Oh crap, I'm out of Alclad. Okay. Right. Why not uploading Alclad directly from the train? Up here? I am, it's just not uploading very fast. Alright, I'll just grab a few stacks in that case and keep going on our merry way. At that point, all I gotta do is up, back, size it connects, and come on, work with me here. There you go. Down by 1. This is the absolute maximum length of conveyor belt that I can manage right here. There we go. Yep. Now that I've figured out the actual functioning of this, of those auto-connecting blueprints, I am quite happy. I think this is pretty freaking great. So we said 9, 3 rows, plus another 9, 3 rows. Plus these 6 that we have here, which is another 2 rows, exactly the size of our blueprint. So strictly in blueprint mode here. Down by 1, build that right there. And now we reconnect all of these lifts into these belts. And then it's actually quite likely that I might ditch some of the belts here for the top row. We'll see if we'll see where and how we can make that all kind of line up and fit, but basically hoping here is to have that. That. Thereabouts. I can't make it perfect, but honestly, I'm okay with it. So yeah, these 6 belts are now connected all the way to here. This train in particular has some extra stuff. Well, not extra. It's just there is some stuff that I know isn't connected to the train station back there in terms of loading it up onto the train. So that is something that I have to do eventually. But for now, I want to connect this highway properly. So
Hello there.
hello there, Amanda. Good morning. How's things today? Oh yeah, hydrate. Yes, I will hydrate. Just place down this thing first. And now I hydrate. There you go. I have finally started building the new base. After dismantling this whole place. And the first thing I'm building is... Well, the only way I have to describe it is a conveyor belt superhighway. Which could also be qualified as nightmare fuel, considering the amount of belts I have on there. But because I have the new version, it's actually a lot easier to connect than I expected it to be. Because if I just want to make this thing a little bit longer, then all I have to do, as long as this thing is facing the right way, is just nudge it out far enough and it just auto connects everything. Instead of having to connect every belt by hand, this is how I get to do it now. Thanks to this new version. It's making things a lot easier. Especially considering the fact that I have 3 whole gigantic train stations that I want to, well, dump onto this superhighway. I've got 1 train station done already. It's the top 6 belts, basically. And then, but it's the closest one and the easiest one. That train station there that I'm looking at, coming from the other side, is gonna be the bottom 9 belts. So the bottom 3 rows. And then the one way up there, that one is gonna be the middle 9. Now it's just a matter of, well, getting all of those conveyors to where I want them to be. One thing I really do want to have a good look at here with the highway, yeah, it's this row. I'm gonna want it probably there-ish. The tubes are gonna have to move. They're a bit in the way. So let's say I take you out. For the hypertubes, as long as, yeah, I could deal with that. So even for the tubes, I could probably move him over a bit if I need to. I think that guy's gonna move. I do it like that, that means now I can have that. So 1, 2, 3. Six, 7, 8, 9. That's going to be for the top train over there. So gotta line it up from here. That tile corner right there. 1. That. That should do it. That is not lined up. It's these 3 up there. There. And there. And there. Now, if I do up down to here. Oh, because there's a wall below, that's why. Actually quite close to the hypertube wall down there, isn't it? Yeah. But it still should not be... I mean, it's kind of... Oh, yeah. Pretty close. Pretty close. That tube entrance. Those, yeah, that's gonna have to move. That was just, yeah, that was just a start of a build here. And I'm actually extremely okay with shifting that over so that I could build this easier. Because this is going to be all of the resources for the new base. Well, everything that's coming from an external base for the new base is going to be on this superhighway. So okay, now let's say I want to do there. Okay, 3 and then line it up to the side of the tile right there. Side of the tile over here. Go. Nope. Wrong. That one. That and that one goes there. There we go. That's coming along pretty nicely. So, yeah. And now over here, finally get to the kind of, well, no, kind of. We finally get to the what I would dare to call the final bit here. So this and that can go away. And even that can also go away. Ugh. I should not have deleted that. I made a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake. Oh no. Not default. Blueprint auto connect. There it is. There he goes. Okay. I was able to get that back to where it should be. Now I don't want to dismantle in blueprint mode. I just want to dismantle some belts. So yeah, there we go. So it's not letting me connect directly. Unfortunate. That means these belts are also... I'll redo them by hand at that point. Not connecting. Do that, I delete the blueprints. I don't want to delete the blueprint. Let's just delete the belts right here. Delete all of the belts. I get rid of all of that and then do God damn, why do you connect to things I don't want you to connect to? Oh, no, no. There. That. Is it all of them? No, it's not all of them. Why is it only 5 out of 6? Okay, what if I do it the other way then? That seems to be doing better. So really? Why is it trying to connect up there? I don't want you to try to connect elsewhere. I just want you to... There we go. Was that complicated? Sheesh. Go right way. Notch down by 1. Bam. There we go. Aim drill again. For that last little missing bit, I'll do it by hand so that all of the conveyor elevators line up. If that's all I need to do now, like, I'm okay with that. Because at this point, At this point, I'll plug in 9 conveyors, 12 conveyors by hand. Like, go. There we go. Now all we gotta do go. So that's the middle 6 kind of plugged in. Mostly kind of plugged in. Shite. Okay. I can't plug it there. So right. These 9 lines here, I am gonna have to do a little different. These 9 floor holes cannot be there because that's where the station is. So what that tells me is that I'm gonna have to run all of those 9 lines onto the ceiling. As long as I don't have to do too many turns, it shouldn't be too bad. all the way up to the ceiling here. Pop these out from the ceiling, just that should connect. That's clipping through. It's not working. Not want them to clip through. There. That basically perfectly lines up for those. Then we just do kind of same drill, kind of layer by layer here. Four. Go. That looks about right. 4. There. That brings up to here. That is well, a little unsightly, I'm not gonna lie. Pretty sure I absolutely hate the look of that. But on the other hand, making a mess here so that it's a lot easier over there, that's a price I'm willing to pay. There we go. So there's 3. Then it's a matter of plugging in, well, the other 6. So yeah, that lines up exactly like that. That one. Lines up exactly there. That one. There we go. Well, there's my other 6 belts. No, I can actually do it like that and say right output none. Plug that into there. Okay. So I need 3 lines. Okay. That one plugs onto here. Simple. Next. Gonna want to line up right about there. We'll have the 1 here. I was about to say I'm gonna have the 2 here, but no. I didn't want to shoot it. I just wanted to delete it. But sure. Okay. So. Goes to here. That goes to there. What is it lining up with? That's all wrong. Okay. So the outclad is going there. I think what's gonna have to happen is I'm gonna have to stack higher. I got 1 that can easily, actually, I got 2 that can easily go under. Just the 3rd one that has to go over. So that's all wrong. That's just weird. Okay, no, that looks horrible and terrible and... Three. There you go. Now I go this to there. Doesn't clip, but barely. Better if I do it the other way? Not really. It's exactly the same. There. If I do it like that, it should work, and then I'll have this there. That one go to here. No. First one, not the second one. There you go. That's a straight line. Okay. Again, I keep misaligning the frickin' things. It's not in the middle. It's on the edge of the tile. There. Go. The other thing I should be doing is color coding this. Take the time to properly mark the overflow belt. That's not the overflow belt at all. There we go. That's my overflow belt completely marked off. As it should be. Okay. Yes. Now that's going in here. It's going there. Should be filling that up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All here. Let's go there. Out of my way. There you go. Which then goes here. Which then goes down here. Very nice. Only the final 9 remain. I could, well, not misalign it. Be really useful. Go, there you go. This, and this. Now there's a lot of those here. Okay. But there we go. That is not bad. Now, if I'm not stupid about this, these should now all plug in where they need to go, which they just did. I'm probably going to want to isolate all of these, maybe hide them inside a pillar of some kind. But that. How is that? It's this. I was about to say, how is this so slow? It's those. There you go. Now it's flowing. And then here. Go and then have. Wait, hold on. Hold on. I'm miscounting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The one with 9 is up there. Okay, so one of them is not going to be used. The one I said I didn't want to use, ideally, is the bottom middle. The very bottom middle. Which is this belt here. No, it is not this belt here. It's that one. So, slightly off. Always got to be hot. Always got to be off by 0.5 millimeter the first time. It's the law. It has to happen. Just... You know you're not getting away from it. Just live with it. There we go. After that, this connecting to there. We got this to here. That is now connecting to there. There we go. Even if some of them are empty, yeah, even if some of them are empty, they're now all connected. My belt highway is officially, quote unquote, full. It is connected to every freight train car, every freight car in the station. The Hypertube hub is probably going to have to move a bit. I'd probably have it arrive here instead. So that support's probably going to go. I'm going to start from that one and that one. Ooh. Oh, I am. Okay. Yeah. That's a whole lot of belts. All of them Mark V. I was also very happy I could figure out actually how to rebalance the overflows. Which, again, should be color-coded. Got to repaint them when I adjusted them. So basically what I did is I took each... How is this? Hold on. No. That one. There you go. Why is it? Ooh. I don't know why it changed color schemes all of a sudden. But no, I refuse. There we go. Yeah. Now it does what I wanted to do. So, every train line comes in here. I've got a little container here just to be able to empty my pockets if I want to. That's probably going to move. Not sure where, but it's very likely going to move. Goes up here, gets split, gets remerged into each of the three lines. So that one is just equally split between the three lines. Then what I did is I took the middle line, split it in two, and each half of it merged onto one of the sidelines. So that allowed me to take 3 conveyors and perfectly balance it on the 2. And then these 2 go down and get into the sorting array that I have down there. And now I've got this whole thing that I can just now build as I go. And maybe even make it even bigger, which I would not be against. The other thing that I need to consider here is the power line. Oh, I am starting. Yep. I'm very much starting to get tired, so this is probably not going to be a super long stream, but we got our superhighway. We got all of our trains connected. Got our main power line right there. That's not the biofuel maker switch anymore. Not at all. That's just gone. That is just, well, not gone, but that's just here. That just goes to there, and then there's nothing. What's very likely going to happen in that case is that this I'm probably going to want to run a few power lines then. But if I want to run a few power lines, then in that case, it shouldn't be plugged into the elevator. Because the elevator is the main line. Main line. And if I want the, come on, words. Please, mouth, work with me here. If I want to keep modular control over my power grid, that's the words, then I need to be bringing in separate lines for each part of the factory. Each of these separate lines is gonna have to come in here and plug onto somewhere on this building. Right now, what I'm planning to use is the gray side of it to plug in. And then that, actually no, it should plug on to here. It should plug on this side. Because that's where the main line goes out. But if... No, that... hold on. No, that's not what I should be doing. Because that... Yeah, I'm thinking about this the wrong way. I'm doing this upside down right now. Because I want every section here to have its own little plug and its own little switch. So so it would have its own little double wall outlet like that. We bring each section onto a line, onto one of these double wall outlets. Plug them around here. And then this is just, this is just the main line back out. Although over here, what that should kind of be... It isn't, but what it should be... Yeah, that's not the backup gens, that's the battery bank. No, that's the battery bank. Well, that one should just go away then. Yeah, that was where the biofuel generators were really plugged in. And I don't need them. Battery bank switch is open, isn't it? Yes, it is. That's why. Shut it down. If I shut it down, now the batteries are running just to keep my hover pack charged. Okay, I mean, that's not bad. But yeah. So over here, like, I might try to have a couple of columns, decorative wall tower things. So let's do... Actually, I could just window it up. Like just full frame, glass it up.
I'm not sure this is an improvement.
Yeah, that's the main line. That's the main output. So those ceiling lights are friggin' gigantic. So let's say I do that, and then I go for wall-mounted floodlight. Just want to have a light in there. So, and if I kind of center it like that, point it a bit up, also like that, and then have that plug onto there. There we go, just a bit of steel wall here. Just like that. Certainly not incredible, but it is better. It does look nicer. So I'll kind of take it. If I do like another center wall like that, probably should do power line all the way to here, which then plugs onto there, and then I'm gonna have another power line all the way to here, which will plug onto the sidewall. Now this time I can just place it right here. That connects there, that connects here. There you go. Yeah, so we got these two, and then we got this. That's really just for the lights. Yeah. I'm guessing I probably could have just... Let's do that. So this is conveyor lights. Yeah, they're shut now. Bam. Now they're on. It's time for me to switch back to fuel-powered jetpack. I believe. And yeah. That's the other reason why I wanted to have a container here. It's because I tend to build and deconstruct a whole bunch of stuff in very quick succession when I'm prototyping like I am right now. And because of that, it's always very, very useful when I have a quick spot to be able to empty my pockets. So, yeah, I got all of this now. This ain't over. There's gonna be more. Like, this thing is gonna get bigger. Well, wider. Basically, I'm gonna have another one. Maybe not that big, but same width going that way. So, it's really just that. Going that way is kind of going to clone it like that. It doesn't need to start here. But a lot of the stuff that is getting built there, like especially for the more basic resources, like screws and plates and copper stuff. Although that might have to be on another floor. I'm having a thought that this might have to be on another, well, maybe not another floor, but another space. Because if it's on another floor right above, let's say where I am now, and I build the floor up and have another conveyor highway right above it, that's gonna go very, very wrong when time comes to split up and sort out a whole bunch of that. So, let's see what we can and should do over here. So, iron mines. 1, 2, and 3, and 4? 4. Yep, that's nice and lined up. So, all in all, what's that? 240, 240, 240. I think that would be... Yeah, all of them are at 240, right? So that is 920 iron ore per minute. Right now, I don't need, like... So I'm going to have to plan exactly what I'm going to make. But I know that I don't need iron ore for... like pure iron ore. I'm not making anything here straight up out of iron ore. I'm all gonna turn it into ingots. So the first step is to, well, turn this thing into a giant, turn this place into a giant smelter. This particular floor. So, just gonna zoom myself a little bit of floor over here. Because I have to start figuring out exactly what I can do here in terms of smelter. So I have my blueprint, my Mark 5 smelter, iron ingots Mark 5. That is my main kind of smelter building design. If I plop one of those down, these are built to be able to stack up and side by side. But even more importantly, each of these little bricks can take 120. So did I count that right? 240 times 4. It's 960. It's 960, not 920. So 8. So I could run... Well, each of these mining machines can go to 2 of these bricks and get completely processed. So that's going to be what I'm going to be doing, is basically linking each of these to 2 of these smelter bricks. I don't even need to try to be... Yeah, I don't need to be fancy schmancy here. It just needs to... Yeah, there's no room under, and I'm okay with that. It's fine. So what I can pretty easily do here, because like a Mark 5 belt is what? $780. So I could easily take the output of these 2, let's say, and merge it into a single Mark 5. And then have that here. Move a little bit ahead and kind of split off into 4 bricks. So if I do my iron ingots, there you go. And I'm gonna have, how wide is this thing? It's 4 tiles wide, isn't it? So there. And then I moved by 0.5 millimeter before, right before I clicked, because that's what I always do. I moved by 0.5 millimeter again. There we go. That's what I wanted. There we go. So these two machines can go in these 4 bricks. And then I'll have another arrangement of 4 bricks, let's say there. There we go. So here is my iron smelter space. Now it's just going to be... Well, now it is going to be a matter of getting power and plugging all of the conveyors and stuff. But this is basically how I'm going to start designing the new base from the ground up. Is I'm going to have each kind of section here be a sequence of those brick type blueprints. And like once I'm here, I can easily just build a floor here and keep building above. Like this is where the this is where the possibility of kind of having floors that are not exactly the same height throughout the whole valley kind of came to be. And like even for down here, like the copper smelter doesn't even need to be at the same height as the iron smelter. I don't care. Okay. Oh, no. I should... I am shrimping hardcore right now. Okay. Just sit up. Straighten out. Hydrate. There we go. Now we got this. So... Well, so first we need a power line for all of this. So it's going to be the iron mine slash smelter. That's all going to be one power line. Okay. Now that switch and that switch and that switch and that switch. Those 4 all go away. Even this one, I think. Yeah. Get rid of that. Is that. Put on there. So now I'm going to have that switch here for this whole set of 4 breaks. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. That one is gonna go away. That plugs on here. That. Here. That. Plugs on to here. There you go. Now, after that, have a power line of some kind. Something like that. We go. We can either shut down each brick, or from the main line, which is probably going to be this, I'm going to run a main line from here all the way to, you kind of see the copper wall over there. That's where I have all of my switchboard. My full power switchboard is over there. So I'm gonna run a line from here to there, figure out a switch for it, and then that means I'm gonna be able to start up or shut down this smelter whenever I need to. And if I really need to, then I could just shut down a whole brick. Actually, I actually had a thought here. Just, you know, a dangerous proposition. I'm not gonna deny, but yeah, I'd like to have the mining machines kind of linked with whatever brick they're getting processed in. So let's say this here. That would be running these. That can connect to there. That can connect to there. No, not that. Freaking power switch. Keeps creating new connectors on the wall when I just want the friggin' power switch. There you go. So now this should control those mining machines plus the brick itself. And then that switch controls that half. There we go. So that's the ore going in. Simple as that. The ingots coming out are going to be a little trickier to organize. Actually, yeah. Because then I could just... conveyor lift here. Eight. There we go. Once I start that up, that half should be fed properly. The rest of the matter is really just going to be about taking the... really just going to be about taking the ingots out. So 60, 120, 120, 240. That's 480 per. Yeah. If I combine it all, it's 480 per big brick. For another 960. Is that 60 there, 60 there, 60 there, 60 there. 240 plus 120 there, plus 120 there. 240, 240, 480 for big brick. And then depending on what I need to make with it, so I should keep these two separated. Those should be two nearly full Mark V belts of just iron ingots. 8. More than that. Eight. That's just nah. There we go. Much better. Well, that's my inputs are all sorted out. And then over there, like I might just build a bit of floor here. Because are these the same? Are these 240s as well? I believe so. Another 240. Another 240. Well, guess what? I've got one of these bricks set up for copper ingots. So copper ingots Mark 5. Look at that. Bam. Not that, the whole there. There. is my copper smelter building. The only thing I gotta do is, well, same thing as did before, is link the power switch back up. Yeah, it's that one that's gonna go this time. Boom. That's actually lining up now. Kind of the same drill as before. The only thing I gotta do is go. There's my copper ore. All I gotta do next is split that into there. Eight. Eight. And kind of the same drill now. It's the whole I feel like I should have a structure of some kind, like a custom electric pylon of some kind that would allow me to have a whole bunch of those power lines kind of going from a place to another. A bit like I did with the conveyor belts, except with power lines. Which is basically having a whole bunch of them going in one direction without mixing them up. Wonder if the autoconnect works with wires. That's going to be something I'm going to have to test. But for now, I started very early because I couldn't sleep. And now I'm at the point where I'm falling asleep because I couldn't sleep before. So, I'm going to end the stream here. Been going for, what, 3 hours or so? Not bad. I'm quite happy with the little bit of progress that we made, especially figuring out the conveyor highway. That has been kind of at the forefront of my mind for a hot minute. Was figuring that out. And I think what's gonna have to happen, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have another conveyor highway on a different floor. I think that this level, this floor here that I'm walking on, is gonna be kind of dedicated conveyor space. So yeah, I'll keep, like, according to my measuring stick, that would be like a 20 meter, yeah, 19, 20 meter kind of, kind of space here, like that. And so I'll keep that floor kind of even everywhere. And I'll keep a 20 meter high floor through the whole thing. That's going to be nothing but conveyor management. It's going to be... Because, like, whenever I need to split off some stuff from these belts, I'm going to need some space. Like, it might need to be more than 20 meters. I might make it like 20, 24, 28. If I make it 24, 28, let's say, don't get yourself off of things. That's enough. (20, 24, 28). If I do 20, wait, 24, 28, yeah. So if I do 28 meters, then the floor I'm currently standing on can just kind of stop there. Well, that's also probably where the power line stuff is going to happen. Yeah, I think that should be the last thing No, not going to be the last thing I design today. For today, that's enough. I need to go to bed. I'm exhausted. Even though my brain is in overdrive, I should not be awake still. So, I'm going to stop now, or I keep pushing. Because I know I shouldn't be pushing myself this much. I need to rest. It's going to drop a save. And I'm going to find a friend to raid. So. Who do I have amongst my friend that I could raid? Jimothy's playing Rocket League. Yeah, let's go see Jimothy. So. Take care, everybody. Say hi to Jimothy for me. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. I know it was an early finish and an early start. But I couldn't sleep. And now I need to sleep. So I'm gonna go to sleep. Take care. Say hi to Jimothy for me. And I'll be back tomorrow for either some more of this or some Pacific Drive. Maybe even some Leica. I'm not even sure. I don't know what I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. So, in every case, take care. I'll see you soon.